Hello everyone, this is Mojabin Baloch and you're watching my YouTube channel Insani Ittihad, which aims to invoke a little bit of humanity in all of us. So it has been Ramzan here in the world actually, and we Muslims observe fasting in this month, and this month is very significant for us, and obviously my routine and everything got changed, and of course because of the COVID it was a different setup, and I have been busy, and that's why I didn't put many videos. But past few days have been very tough, and after hearing so many emotional and sentimental comments and messages around generally, I mean from here and there, so and observing the situation of the Middle East, specifically Jerusalem, I thought that I should make this video. And remember, these are like today, tomorrow is going to be the 29th day of the month of Ramadan. So we are nearing the end of this month and preparing for Eid. So it's very difficult to one, go through such events, and then me coming in and talking about what my opinion is. So there was this channel that I had listened to. It was an online live discussion on YouTube, the channel called Sulha. In that video, actually it was a live conversation rather. So I was getting the accounts of what's happening in Jerusalem. So the reason that I am making this video is to shed a little bit of light on what is the whole thing. So we're already very spiritually activated due to the month of Ramadan, due to this holiness of fasting and everything. And to escalate situations and this Israel-Palestine conflict in these times is something which is very much trending. Last year, or I think a year before that, we see Hamas and all those what you can say terrorists, or the freedom fighter for Palestinians or whatever. These people sort of choose this month specifically to escalate and to fuel up the heat of this conflict, and relating it to Al-Aqsa or the Dome of the Rock, and sort of playing with the emotions and sentiments of the Muslim world. I don't know, I had commented on that live conversation as well, that personally I feel that Palestinians use Islam and the Muslim community to press or promote their agenda and their narrative. And and that's why they specifically choose this holy month of Ramadan. So, and they compel Israelis, and they sort of force them and take them to that edge that they would react and do something really horrible, like they kept on firing rockets from Gaza so that the Israeli could retaliate and bomb Gaza, and then the Palestinians go on and they just tell the Muslim world and the whole of the world that, oh God, we are so miserable. This evil Israeli IDF army is just not sparing us in the month of Ramadan when we are fasting, and they are bombing us. But I feel a little bit of wickedness and cunningness and evilness of the Palestinians doing this, escalating these things, particularly in the month of Ramadan, so the sentiments and emotions of the Muslim world get behind them, and they can take advantage. And that's what precisely happened. And not only that, I was watching this one video which is referred by all of the Pakistani YouTubers and journalists and everyone, and they were saying, oh, this cute little girl, she was just out there protesting for the Sheikh Jabbar evictions, and there is this neighborhood where, you know, Palestinians are evicted because there was this case of some Israeli families who thought that the buildings or the homes there actually belonged to them before 1948, and you know, they were the ancient owner of that land, and these people who are Palestinians who have occupied those buildings and those ancestral, you know, their homes. So they wanted them back, and they went to the court and they provided their documents, and hence it was proved in the court of law that, you know, these homes and these places actually belong to the Israelis who were forcefully evicted from there, and then the Palestinians were allowed to have those homes and those places by the Britishers who occupied the land in early 19th century. So and then there is this young girl who is a Palestinian, and she's protesting in Jerusalem, and there is a police officer, there are a couple of police officers. They sort of, she was probably throwing you know, water bottles or stones or whatever. So they grabbed her, and then they tied her. They didn't handcuff her. They tied her with that you know, plastic, you know, so that she cannot use her hands and, you know, throw you know, any objects towards them. And then she sat, and the police officer sat her down. They didn't do anything. They just tied her hands, and they made her sit down. And we can see in that particular video, she is smiling. She's giving that cunning and wicked and wild smile, as if she wanted that thing to be caught in the video and then propagated and used as a propaganda tool. And there is someone who is filming her loudly ask for her name and ask her, what is your name? And she says Maryam. She particularly says Maryam because, you know, and then immediately after, the Irish Prime Minister, who happens to be a Catholic person, she comments, you know, this escalation and this forceful excessive force of the Israelis side should be stopped. And you know, and you know what I mean, it's like she deliberately said that her name is Maryam, deliberately. This, I mean, of course she is Maryam, I'm not saying that she is lying about her name, but you know, it seems like a propaganda she was throwing. She was deliberately sort of you know, throwing things at police. She deliberately wanted to be caught and then wanted to be placed and wanted to, you know, and she knew that she won't be like fired upon or beaten up or something like that. She would be just tied her, she would be just caught by the police, and then they would tie her hand, and then they would just set her down, or you know, and then that's it. I mean, that what exactly happens in Israel. I mean, they're very nice people. I mean, I must say, if you ask me, how would the Israeli, if someone who is Jew and Israeli would go throw bottles and stones at the Palestinian police, I am sure they would not be treated as much decently as she was treated. But nevertheless, I mean, it was the whole stunt was actually a stunt. The smile was very wicked, and it's just personally I feel it's just, it is not the things the Palestinians are doing, the things, these escalations, these riots are doing, they're not creating more sympathy towards Palestinian. I think they need to do much more than that. They need to act sensibly. Palestinian Authority and the Hamas government in Gaza has to sit down and decide what they actually want and what sort of feasible solution they want for this conflict. And Palestinians, in my opinion, be using such, wild tactics. These dramas have to stop. And she deliberately saying I'm Maryam, and then she's treated like that, and then there is this conversation that she says to this police officer. It's such a it's just not working out, basically. So I would suggest that Palestinians and Israelis both need to talk to each other rather than talk about each other to the rest of the world. So this is the line that I got from Muslim Jewish conference. They said we talk to each other. Muslim Jewish conference, Muslims and Jews, we talk to each other, not about each other behind our backs. So I'll suggest the same to the Palestinians, specifically Palestinians, and also to Israelis, that you Israelis and Palestinians need to talk to each other and sort their issues and somehow resolved in acceptable conflict resolution thing. I don't know what that is. They need to talk it out themselves. As a Pakistani, I suggest both of them a very peaceful coexistence side by side in hopefully two different places. For me, I strongly feel that Jordan should be named as Palestine and Palestinian state should be established there. But then again, I am a Pakistani. Why should I, even bother? So they need to sit together and talk to each other, and should not talk about each other to the rest of the world and try to gain some sympathy or legitimacy of their propaganda or their agenda, whatever that agenda is, whether it's Israeli or Palestinian. I don't know. Sort your issues and please don't involve us. This is the holy month and we are praying here. You probably heard the azan coming. This is the Fajr azan. So these are last couple of fasts left. We want to pray to God for forgiveness of our sins. And now Pakistan has its own issues. People are dying in India. Muslims are dying in India. The last thing we need is in sentimental response for the Palestinian and a call for terrorist attacks or something like that. So please spare us, Palestinians. I beg you that please spare us in this holy month. We want to pray for people who have lost their life in COVID. There are certain issues in Pakistan. There are economic issues, there are lockdowns, there are people sick, people probably dying. We have our own issues. So please, the last thing we need is your whining about your conflict that you yourself do not want to resolve. Deal your issues with Israel. Please don't involve us. Thank you.